David was once a hero, brave enough to face a giant, strong enough to protect his sheep. But now, he was hiding in a dark cave, running from King Saul's jealousy. The cave of Adullam was cold and lonely, far from the comforts of the palace. David had nothing left but his trust in God. Even in fear, he remembered God's promise. One day, he would be king. Alone, David prayed, pouring out his fears and hopes to God. He learned that true courage isn't just about fighting battles, it's about trusting God when you're scared and alone. This cave became David's classroom, shaping his heart for something greater. God was teaching him to depend on him, not on his own strength or the approval of others. David's time in hiding was preparing him to be more than a hero, it was preparing him to be a leader. Sometimes the greatest heroes are made in the quietest, loneliest places. David's faith grew stronger in the darkness. He learned that God was his true shelter. The cave was not the end of his story, it was the beginning of something new. God was with David, even in the shadows. Every moment in the cave was shaping him for the future. David's journey as a leader started here in hiding. He would soon discover he was not alone. Even in the darkest places, God's promise shines bright. David's hiding place didn't stay empty for long. His family found him, bringing comfort and hope. Soon, people in trouble, those in debt, those with broken hearts, came to David, seeking refuge. 400 men gathered, looking to David as their leader. David welcomed them all, becoming their captain. He cared for them like a shepherd cares for his flock. David made sure his parents were safe, sending them to Moab for protection. He put others' needs before his own, showing what true leadership looks like. This unlikely group became David's first army, a family of outcasts united by hope. David's compassion and courage inspired them. He led with kindness, not just strength. In the cave, David learned to lead the lost and hurting. He showed that a true leader serves and protects. God was building a new kind of kingdom, starting with those the world had forgotten. David's heart for others set him apart. Even in hiding, he was becoming the leader God had called him to be. The cave became a place of new beginnings. As David cared for his followers, King Saul's anger grew. Saul's jealousy led to tragedy, but David offered protection to those in danger, like the priest Abiathar. When enemies attacked Keilah, David asked God for guidance and bravely saved the town, even when his men were afraid. But danger followed. Saul came after David again. David listened to God, escaping just in time. He and his men moved from place to place, always trusting God's protection. Saul searched for David every day, but God kept David safe. Sometimes David was just out of Saul's reach, rescued by God's perfect timing. Even when betrayed or hunted, David relied on God, not fear. The wilderness became a place of miracles and trust. God's hand was always guiding David even in the wildest moments. David's faith was his shield. In every trial, God proved faithful. One day, Saul entered the very cave where David and his men were hiding. It was the perfect chance for revenge. Saul was alone and vulnerable. David's men urged him to strike, but David chose a different path. Quietly, he cut off a corner of Saul's robe instead of harming him. Even this small act troubled David's heart. He knew Saul was still God's chosen king. David stopped his men from attacking, teaching them that revenge was not God's way. He showed mercy, not hatred. David honored God by honoring Saul, even as his enemy. True strength, David showed, is the power to forgive. He trusted God to judge, not himself. In the darkness, David's choice shined with courage and grace. Sometimes the bravest thing is to show mercy. After Saul left the cave, David revealed himself, showing the piece of robe as proof of his mercy. Saul was moved to tears, realizing David's kindness and righteousness. Saul admitted David would one day be king and asked for mercy for his family. David promised peace, choosing forgiveness over revenge. This moment revealed the heart of a true king, not just a warrior but a man of compassion. David's journey from fugitive to leader showed that real greatness is found in mercy and trust in God. A true leader cares for others, seeks God's guidance, and chooses kindness. God honors those with hearts like his, full of forgiveness. Even in darkness, David's faith never wavered. His story reminds us, God is with us, shaping us for his purpose. The cave was not the end but the beginning of David's destiny. In every trial, God's promise remained. David's heart made him a king after God's own heart.